Hey everyone, so I actually received a request to go ahead and update my King of the Season 23 3 True Outcomes video and go ahead and crown a new king now that Season 24 is over and Season 25 is set to begin. So we're going to do that, right? We're going to get the old band back together, we're going to go grab some new players, and we're going to talk about home runs, walks, and strikeouts, and a whole awful lot, okay? Before we get into the actual numbers, I want to give you a quick refresher on what the 3 true outcomes are and why we care, okay? So the 3 true outcomes refer to 3, possibly 4, of the possibilities, the possible ways for a plate appearance to end. So batter comes into the batter box, eventually he has to leave, maybe he gets a hit, maybe he gets a walk, whatever, but 3 of the possibilities are home runs, walks, and strikeouts. And the reason that we care about those 3 and we group those 3 together and we call those 3 the 3 true outcomes is they don't involve the defense in any way. You hit a home run, the defense can't field the ball. You strike out, the defense can't field the ball. And if you get a walk, the defense doesn't get to field the ball. So all of these players we're going to talk about are extremely good at using their offense to completely disable the other team's defense, which is very good and sometimes very bad. But we'll get into those details in just a second. First, let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about home runs, baby. So, allow me to introduce the 5 biggest boys flinging the most dingers over the wall last year. In 5th place, the reigning MVP, who appears to have had some cosmetic surgery recently, is Paulo DeStefano Jr., who mashed 29 home runs last year. With just a little more pop in his bat in Season 24 is Willie Colon in 4th place with 31 home runs. And tied for 2nd last season are the possibly recently retired, I don't want to start rumors, but he does not currently have a player page in the BNN Index, Mr. Boise Connor McDavitt, and still young gun recent World Series champion Hardin Long, who each hit 32. And the Season 24 home run champion was the immortal one, Bobby McDonald, hitting 35. So congrats on great seasons to those 5 players. I'm going to go ahead and show you some relevant stats here without revealing their 3 true outcome rate just yet. As you can see, if you take a look at those weighted runs created plus values, hitting this many home runs makes you a pretty effective offensive contributor, and all of these guys have had impressive 3 true outcome rates last season. Since walks are another great way to contribute on offense, let's go ahead and take a look at those, see who made the most easy strolls to first base last year. In 5th place, we have Barbados Slim. In 4th, John Camden. In 3rd place, Joshua Stevenson. And tied for 1st, both Stan Antonio and Andrew Oram. For your enjoyment, I'm going to throw up similar stats to those from the home run leaderboard here, so you can do a little compare and contrast if you want. John Camden with a nice total of 69 walks and over 203 true outcome events. And finally, let's look at the strikeout leaders from last season. With the 5th most strikeouts in Season 24, we have Ionel Bogescu. In 4th, we have Christy Abbott. With the bronze, we have Al Bunty. And in 1st and 2nd, we have 2 rookies. Silver goes to Sam Andrews of the Vandals. And 1st place with 137 strikeouts goes to Big Chungus. If you'd like to see the same gamut of stats for these guys, here they are. You might notice that overall the number of plate appearances for this group is down compared to the other groups, but I also wanted to point out that Christy Abbott was a very strong hitter this year with a WRC plus of 124 and 28 home runs, which was the 6th most in Season 24. So even being a 3 true outcome hitter and specializing specifically in strikeouts, you can still be a big-time offensive contributor. So far, we've briefly covered the 15 players comprising the top 5 in home runs, walks, and strikeouts, which are the 3 true outcomes, but we are not done. I wanted to be more thorough this year, so first, I ran the numbers for last season's king, Kevin Hunter. He failed to make the top 5 in any of these 3 categories, but he did come close in both walks and strikeouts, which makes him a strong contender. I also ran through all the team rosters and pulled potential candidates and crunched all their numbers. The result was this big old spreadsheet, which I will put a link to in the description so that you can look into it as deep as you would like. But to cut to the chase, I went ahead and sorted all of these potential candidates by the most important stat, a category that was carefully not presented for any of these players so far, the percentage of their plate appearances that ended in one of the 3 true outcomes. Here is my final leaderboard. To my honest surprise, Kevin Hunter retains his title as king of the 3 true outcomes, but it was really close. It turned out that we needed quite a few decimal places to determine first and second place. Chris Yabbitt was right there, and Ian Fullman snuck into the top 5 without making the top 5 in any of the component categories. So it is a good thing that I was more thorough in my search this time. I'd like to again point out that there are a whole lot of really good offensive players represented here, which would show you that there is no reason you can't be this type of hitter and be an offensive weapon. The average weighted runs created plus of the top 10 here is 108.5. For fun, let's look at the 3 true outcome event totals. So percentage tells us how often home runs, walks, or strikeouts occur for each batter, but let's see who put up the highest raw output of those 3. John Camden, aided by his nearly 500 plate appearances, ended 209 of them without the opposing defense needing to do anything. So no crown for you, but you are a true hero whose services are appreciated nonetheless, John Camden. The last thing I want to do is compare these numbers to last season. The top 3 true outcome percentages I identified last season were all over 45%. We did not have anyone reach those heights this year. That actually makes sense as the ratio of bases on balls, home runs, and strikeouts to at-bats collectively decreased in season 24, the most recent season. There were a lot more walks and a lot less strikeouts in season 24 than in season 23. Finally, if we look back at the final leaderboard, we can see the green boxes, which denote a top 5 finish in a particular category, are a lot more spread out this time. There still seems to be a preference for strikeout leaders higher on the leaderboard, but that preference is much smaller than it was last year. So with walks up and strikeouts down, you can score high, leading the league in any of these 3 true outcomes or in none of them at all, as Kevin Hunter has shown definitively here. Congrats on holding on to your crown, Kevin Hunter.